What is up, gems? Got another video for you today, and I'm going to be talking about how to read candlestick charts the right way. Now, I know a lot of you maybe have never seen this before, so I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you so you know exactly what you're looking at. I know candlesticks can be a little bit more confusing at first, guys, especially if you're only familiar with line charts or something else. But with candlestick charts, you actually get tons more information when viewing charts this way, especially when you know what you're looking at. So the candlesticks actually have two elements, which are the body of the candlestick, which is represented with this section right here. And then you have the wicks, which are represented by these little guys on either end. And this is actually a bullish candle, which is typically green. And this tells the trader that price closed at a higher price than it opened at, suggesting that price moved up during this specific time frame. Now, each candle actually has 4 different pieces of information to tell you. What it tells you is that down here at the bottom of the body is where the candle opened. And then up here at the top of the body of the candle is where it closed. And then it also tells you at the top of the wick here the highest point at which it reached during this time frame, and conversely at the lowest point of the wick down here is the lowest point that price went at this specific time frame. Now over here on the right we have a bearish candle, which is typically red or orange, and the same thing here, just a little bit different, where at the top of the body we have the open area, and then the bottom of the body is where it closed. So this is telling the trader that price closed at a lower price than it opened. And actually price moved all the way up here, just like before, to the top of the wick, and then price moved all the way down here, but of course opened up here and closed down here. Now each candle is representative of price action during that specific time frame. So if this entire candle is a 1 hour candle, then that is telling us the story of where price went in that 1 hour. Similarly, if you're looking at the daily chart, then each candle is giving you information for what happened during that day and that day alone. This is the same exact situation for any time frame, whether you're in the 1 minute chart or going all the way up to something like the monthly chart. Keep in mind now, guys, that each candle, whether that is the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, etc., is also actually being represented by a combination of smaller time frame candles. So what that means is here on the 1 hour charts, we're on GU. We can see this candle that I'm pointing to right here is obviously one candle on the 1 hour chart, but if we bump down to the 30-minute chart, what we can see is that that single candle is actually made up of 2 30-minute candles. Now this might seem very obvious, but some people don't actually realize that the shape of one candle, one single candle, is the combined shape of a number of different smaller time frame candle shapes. Now this might be a little difficult to see because these candle shapes are actually rather similar, but let's jump on over to this right here. What we have is at 1700 hours and 1730, we have 2 30-minute candles here that look very different. Let's draw a line here. Excuse me, let's draw an arrow pointing to these two. Now let's jump back to the 1 hour chart. Keep in mind what it looks like over here. We have a large green bullish candle followed by a smaller red candle. Jumping back to this 1 hour chart, now what do we have there? Well, we have a green bullish candle that looks a little bit like the first candle in the 30-minute chart, but not exactly like that, because if we jump back to the 30-minute charts, we can actually see that this shape is a combination of these 2 candle shapes right here. This is the exact same scenario. If you're looking at the daily candle, what you would then have is that daily candle is made up of 24 1 hour candles and their respective shapes. Now there are tons of different candlestick patterns that play out in the markets. I just brought up this picture to show you an example. I'm sorry if this is a little bit blurry, but basically you can see bearish engulfing, bearish tweezers, shooting star, hammer. All of these are different price reversal patterns that can give traders a clue as to where the market might turn around or in what direction the market's actually going. I'm not going to explain each and every one of these, but I do want to find an instance of this hammer, as it is a very common candle pattern that you see. And I'd like to show you guys an example on the chart and tell you a little bit about what story that tells. So let's see if we can find one of those perfect hammer candles here somewhere on the chart. Okay, so going back a little bit here, what did we find? Well, if I zoom in here, let me show you. I found a perfect example of a resting hammer candle pattern. These guys actually tell a bit of a story. What we can see is that price actually started right down here. This is a bullish candle, so price opens at the bottom here. Then what we can see is buyers pushed up and up and up this wick here at the top here, and buyers pushed the point to here. This here represents a price rejection area where price came all the way up here and then was rejected, and the bears brought the price all the way back down and closed it at this level right here. All these candles actually tell a little bit of a story, and by knowing what story they tell and by understanding what the wicks mean and where the open and closes go can actually help you to better make some predictions about where price is going and where to potentially enter the market. So just as reading these individual candles is important, it's also important to be able to read groups of candles or entire charts to see where market direction is going and to possibly identify any trends. So starting up at this high right here, we see the market pushes down, retraces back up, pushes back down, and what we have created here is a bit of resistance. Now we're looking for price to either continue down, make a bit of a pullback, and then continue down, or if the market is reversing and going in a different direction, it will break this resistance line. And what we have here is actually the market breaks up and does go ahead and break right through that resistance. So at this point, we would consider this a termination of the downward move, of the downward direction. However, what we see just following that is another big move down, another correction, and then another big move down. So what we can see is that after that, we actually started another downtrend. And as you can see here, we have some more resistance through this level and waiting for that to be broken as a reversal. And now you can see at present day, what we have is we actually do have a break of that resistance, a pullback, and market might be trending up just a hair here. Could also be in a slight zone of consolidation. So hopefully you're able to kind of see how that goes and get a little bit better of an idea of how to stare at these candlestick charts and try to make sense of them. I know in the beginning, guys, it's a bit confusing. You see all these weird patterns, you see all these interesting candlesticks on the chart, and you're like, what does it mean? Why do they look different? Why don't I just see straight lines? But actually, if you can get used to looking at these and you get a better idea of how to draw trend lines and determine market direction, you have a much fuller story that you get from the charts, and you have a better idea of potentially where the market is heading. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you have a better idea of how to read candlestick charts, and hopefully get a better idea of how to look at price action and determine market direction as well. If any of you guys can leave a like or subscribe, it really helps the channel. I can continue to provide more videos for you guys. If you have any more questions or you need clarification on something, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll make sure to respond to you. And if you'd like to see more of something else, or you'd like to see a video made on a separate topic that you'd like to learn more about, let me know and I'll make sure to do that in a future video. Check out our last video, which is a recap of a successful trading day by one of our very own VVS traders. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys again soon.